I think my great-great-grandfather's up there smiling, and he's saying, you now are speaking on behalf of me, and they never listened to me, and maybe they'll listen to you. Reconstruction was such a horrible, horrible environment, and he couldn't see that that country that which he had paid allegiance to was the country he did. But after Reconstruction ended in 1886, he came back and he said, one country. We should forget the past and move forward as one country. We've understood through 40 years of me traveling around the country the importance of Jefferson Davis in reference to this country. And there's a perception that he was born incarnated on February of 1861, that the first 52 years of his life didn't exist. And along with that comes those assumptions that he created slavery and created the Confederate States of America, which, if you say it long enough, the fiction becomes fact. The Colorado Springs era is important to the Davis family because the only daughter who got married moved to Colorado Springs in 1885. So there hasn't been a true Davis in the South since that period of time. We've all been initiated into the far West. We're natives of Colorado. We've spent more time in Colorado than the Davises did in Mississippi. So really, I really didn't have any thoughts about it one way or the other until, I come to Mississippi and I see what's going on. I think that the battle flag conveys racism in reference to the fact that it's been hijacked. First you had the Ku Klux Klan. Because it was used in that reference, it possibly at that point in time started to turn, but when it really did hit was the 1950s and early 60s, when suddenly you had the segregationist governments of the South, George Wallace and Ross Barnett, several others, and they held that flag close to them, and it represented the South, and it represented what they believed.
I could not depart this platform and walk from this convention hall without first reaffirming fully my absolute and unshakable stand for segregation of the races at all levels.
Shelby Foote said that the better white people in the 50s and the 60s let the bad white people, the Ku Kluxers, take that flag away from us. Better white people did not stand up and stop it, did not stand up and speak out against it as they should have.
We hold that flag as the Confederate flag, and it's not. That bothers me immensely. You can fly the first national flag in the Confederate States of America anywhere in the country and nobody knows what it is. The flag that we're talking about is not the flag of the Confederate States of America. It's the battle flag of the Army of Northern Virginia. The reason that it's so popular is that it was the flag that was used in every battle after the initial conflict. There was confusion about the flags at Manassas, and there were people shooting each other because they thought they were on the wrong side. Of course, the second national flag wasn't too much better because it was all white, so it looked like we're surrendering. Confederate States of America did not have a great national flag, but the military did, and it was the battle flag of Northern Virginia. So as we look at that flag, it's the battle flag that we're talking about and not the Confederate States flag. I think the historical context is the key understanding. The flag is historic. It represented an army. It represented men in battle. And people who hold that dear to their ancestor, I have no problem with. I understand that everybody in Mississippi probably had someone that fought in the war and lost their life. University grazer, 100%.
Sometime within a few days after the secession, on January 9th of 1861, no doubt those boys had to be sitting around saying, what are we going to do about this war? Are we going to get into it? Are we going to play a part? What can we do? And no doubt somebody said, you know what, we're going to form our own company, and we're going to go fight in this thing ourselves. University Grays were sent to the east and joined the Eastern Confederate Army. When Robert E. Lee took that army over after General Johnson was wounded in the First Battle of the 7 Days, General Lee renamed it the Army of Northern Virginia. In late 1861, General Beauregard had helped design what we now know as a Confederate battle flag, the St. Andrew's Cross type flag. Regimental flags were absolutely the pride of the regiment. It's hard for us to understand the love and the feeling they had for those flags. Those men would die for that flag and did die for that flag. 31 of them go into Pickett's Charge. Pickett's Charge takes about 30 minutes. Every one of those 31 is killed or wounded. 14 are killed, 17 are wounded. That is 100% casualty rate there at Gettysburg. As Shelby Foote and others say, the linchpin of America runs through Gettysburg, runs through Pickett's Charge. Whether that one charge succeeds or fails decides the fate of what this government and what this country is going to be like.